Hi again then guys, and welcome to of course another tune setup for Forza Horizon 4, this time for a barn find vehicle, one of the fastest, if not the fastest, barn find car overall, the GT40. Now this one, as far as upgrades go, is not for purists. A lot of my tunes aren't, of course. Now I've got the Viper V10 engine fitted because it gives you the best numbers. Of course you don't have to fit that, but I just fit whatever engine gives you the most power to work with, because at the end of the day, that's the point of these tunes, to be within reason as fast as they can go. Of course, you can always wring out an extra couple of miles per hour if you spend hours and hours on it, but you know what I mean. Now, as far as the upgrades themselves, I'd recommend fully upgrading everything to race spec, except for the front and rear wing. You don't need those. All the rest you do. Transmission, brakes, tyres, all that kind of good stuff. And it's pretty good because even fully tuned, it's still not Class X. It's actually nowhere near Class X. So it's pretty usable as well. As far as performance, you're looking at 2.2 to 60, 4.1 to 100, 268 flat out according to the benchmark. So of course in a second we'll see if it can actually do that. But for now, the gearbox settings on this one are pretty familiar if you've used my tunes before. Final drive ratio of 2.8, then individual ratios of 2.9, 2, 1.5, 1.18, 0.96 and 0.78. I use those settings quite a lot because they tend to be pretty universal, at least for most of the cars in the game. As far as alignment, we have fitted all-wheel drive as well. Again, that's down to you, but I would always recommend it if it's an option. It makes a huge difference to how good the car is off-road, how good it is in snow and in rain, how quick it is off the line. It's just better for everything in a game like this. For a circuit racing game, it's not, but for a free roaming game with off-roading, it's definitely better. Now, as far as said alignment, as you can see, I've gone for neutral camber, neutral toe, 4 degrees of caster for this one. Anti-roll I've got on 20 for the front and the back. Springs on 75, 125, and the lowest ride height on the front and the rear. Dampers on 9, 15, 5 and 7. Aero, as I said, doesn't apply. I would not recommend racing wings. And as far as the diff, you could put the deceleration to 100% as well if you want to, but this car's already pretty nimble through corners, so try it out. If you prefer it, then go with it. And as far as the center split, it's down to you. I've gone for 75% because that's kind of the sweet spot for acceleration, but if you find it to be too twitchy, take it down to 70 and it will make a big difference. Likewise, of course, if you want it to be more nimble, then you could take it up to 80, but potentially be a little bit slower off the line. So, as I said, it's down to you. This tune is on my storefront, of course, as all of them are, so use the keywords in this video's description, or use my gamer tag to find that. But now, of course, all that remains is to put this car in an event to see if it can actually hit that speed. Now, as far as handling goes, of course something like this is not going to handle as well as a newer Ford GT will, especially not the newest one, and as you can see from the video, I do bounce off of the wall, for instance, but again, this car was never intended to do 260 miles per hour, so there aren't that many places, of course, that you're going to go that fast on either of the current maps, but at least you know that the top speed is there if you want it. Now, I think if you get a perfect run, which I didn't, of course, you could probably hit 268, but for the purpose of the tune, we'll say 267. I personally feel like it probably can hit 268 though, because 267.5 is close enough. So, if you do want to use the classic GT40 for racing, it's got a lot of potential, especially against other classics, so of course, click on here, or click here on screen even, to see all of my other tunes, and follow my storefront in the game to see hundreds of speed tunes for most of the best cars in the game. But that's it for this build. Of course, I'll see you next time, and for now, as always, thanks for watching.